Hey everybody, Luis Tavel here coming to you from beautiful Washington, D.C. and from a Hyatt place in an area called Noma, north of Massachusetts. Really cool new area of the D.C. area. If you get a chance to visit there, definitely try it out. Today I wanted to give you a couple of examples of some customer service shortfalls that really struck me as odd and that are just simply symptomatic and emblematic of the ongoing and increasing lack of customer service in our world. You know, customer service is so important when it comes to branding, either whether it's yourself or your business. It's incredibly important to give people a good experience because that's how they come back. If you provide terrible customer service, they remember that. And so here's the two examples. I was leaving my hotel very early from Boston this morning, and I called for a Lyft driver. When I came out of the hotel, he was sitting there with the lid open for the trunk. Now, most Lyft or Uber drivers are courteous enough to get out of the car and help people with bags, especially people like me who travel with 3 big, heavy bags. Well, this guy didn't bother doing that. In fact, he didn't even bother making sure that I was his passenger. I knew it was him because of the plate and the model of the car. But anyway, I loaded my own things into the car. And of course, I closed the lid to the car manually. And the second I get into the car, I began to be lectured about how I should have used the button to close the trunk. He says, next time, just so you know, you need to use the button to close the trunk. And I said, excuse me? He says, yeah, you can damage the trunk, but you need to use the button. And I said, a couple of things for you. I said, number one, it's early morning. We are stopping traffic behind us. I have a bunch of bags. I'm trying to get things in the car so I don't stop traffic for too long. And I'm supposed to find the button on your trunk. I said, how the heck am I supposed to know, number one, that you have a button and that I should find it? I said, there's no way for me to know that. I said, number two, if you're so concerned about that, here's a suggestion. Next time, get the heck out of the driver's seat and go out back and at least supervise that part of the ride, even if you're not going to help people with bags. How does that sound? It was a silent ride for the rest of the time. And when we got to the airport, of course, I left the lid open. I let him come out and get out of the car. He did get out of the car and close it. Added a dirty look. But anyway, he got 1 star from me and a terrible review to the Lyft people, which I know does not help his business. That's just a stupid thing for him to do. Don't bother doing little things like that leave people with a bad taste in their mouth about your business. Anyway, that struck me as odd. The other one was at the airport. I went to the gate. I was flying American Airlines, and I had been pre-assigned a middle seat. The flight from Boston to D.C. is not very long, and I thought, it's fine. But just to make sure, I went to check at the desk just before boarding. I said, hey, and I was very nice about it. And I said, excuse me, good morning, excuse me, any chance of getting an aisle rather than a middle? And the lady says, an aisle? And I said, yeah. I said, is that an odd request? And she says, well, let me see. And jokingly, I said, you could put me in first class if you want. And she says, I can't move you, but I will put you in an aisle in the same row. I said, okay, which is what I asked for to begin with. Now think about that. She put me in an aisle in the same row where I was pre-assigned the middle seat, meaning there was nobody sitting on that aisle. Okay, number one. Number two, as I was boarding the flight, I noticed that it was maybe 40% full. So in other words, a lot of empty seats, a lot of empty rows, entire rows without anybody in them. So I went to my aisle seat toward the back of the plane and sat down, and I thought, hey, there's nobody here on this row. This is great. So I tried to spread out a little bit. And wouldn't you know it, just before the doors close, somebody shows up and says, hey, I'm sitting in the middle there. I said, you are? I said, you're 25B? He says, yes. I said, okay. Now think about what happened. The gate agent has a map of all the seats. Not only did she do him a disservice by sticking him next to somebody that she knew had just changed his seat, she put him in the middle. So now we are fighting for elbow room. And I looked across the way. There was no one on the aisle and on the row across. So I moved, and I said, no offense, I'm just going to give you a little more elbow room. He says, well, this is where they put me. I said, I understand that. I said, but you can have the window if you want it. But for some reason, he was hell bent on sitting in the middle. So I moved. But think about what the gate agent did. She purposefully put somebody next to me, knowing full well she had not only empty rows, but lots of other aisles on that plane. So that just left a bad taste in my mouth about American today. Those two stories are just simply emblematic and symptomatic of the ongoing and increasing lack of critical thinking and of customer service. I think that businesses are doing themselves a huge disservice by doing goofy things like that. Whether the person's being a little bit of a jerk or just doesn't really know customer service, or maybe a combination of the two, at the end of the day, I don't really care. All I know is that I have a bad feeling about American Airlines today. I have a bad feeling about Lyft today. I did pay a few bucks more for an Uber ride from Reagan National to my hotel, even though a lot of Uber drivers also do Lyft. Regardless, my point being, make it your mission to provide really, really good customer service to people. Forget your little agendas, forget your little vendettas, forget whatever mood you're in that day. That needs to stay at the door when you leave your house. When you get to your business, when you're providing service, provide the best service you possibly can, because that's how people come back to you. Otherwise, you'll have people like me who will tell others about those bad experiences. And next time I have to take a Lyft or consider American Airlines, I might think twice about it. Anyway, that's it. We'll see you next time.